Because it's
Oh,
a big
well,
stress.
we're here with Alex Castellanos. He is a Republican strategist extraordinaire.
What's left of him?
What's left of him. You worked for who? Explain your little bio for...
Oh gosh, I started off in politics 100 years ago. I worked for Abraham Lincoln, and then started doing Senate races, governor's races. Jesse Helms 100 years ago. Bob Dole for Senate, and then for president, and then presidential races. The last one I did was Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney for president. He cured me.
So, what did you think of tonight? The debates tonight.
You know, I thought two of these guys in the early debate, I thought maybe made the case they could go to the big boys table, and I thought they were Carly Fiorina and Jindal. I thought they were strong and substantive and clear, and I think they could clearly have held their own on the bigger stage tonight, if not done really well. But you know, a debate ought to be about differences, not issues. A debate ought to be about you believe this candidate, other candidate, you believe that. So who's right here?
Right.
Because why differences? Because so voters can make a decision. So voters can. It's not just asking these guys about issue. And I thought the candidates were not well served by some of the questions in that sense. They should have given them a little more to work with.
Right. So be able to draw contrast between their values and the guy or the woman that they're running against.
Old rule: debates shouldn't be about issues. They should be about differences, because you want to help voters decide.
Right.
I don't know that Fox helped voters decide a lot tonight at this first debate.
Right. Now, what do I mean, all the talk going into tonight has been Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Well, I think it's the hair. I think it's the hair. The hair is rocking on. It's kind of a mane. I think he got it from Cecil the lion.
Oh my God!
That came from
yeah.
there. Look, Trump is nitroglycerin, and he's, I think, going to be Trump. There's nothing else he can be. But I think you're going to see the moderators throw Trump at the other candidates. Too many eyeballs, they'd lose if they don't. So I think we'll see a little bit of that. But most of the candidates, I think, will find it better to hug Trump's message, but stay away from the messenger. To take his heat, yeah, we're damn mad at Washington too.
Right, he's very reflective of voters' anger and frustration.
You got it. Now, let's talk about what we're going to do about it.
Right.
Let's get something done. Let's turn our anger into action.
Right.
And that, I think, is the path that candidates can take tonight. But Trump's going to be around a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
So learn to live with it.
How do people follow you on Twitter?
Alex Cast.
Oh, that
ALEXCAST.
You made it really easy, and you run the New Republican.
NewRepublican.org. Look, there's a Republican Party that's transforming itself, making itself into something better. You know, we all have to move forward in life. I think Marco Rubio said yesterday is over and it's never coming back. The Republican Party, the saddest thing I hear in focus groups is the world is changing and the Republican Party is being left behind. So let's not do that.
Right.
If we believe in freedom and we believe freedom is indispensably needed, we ought to be able to make the case that our beliefs are indispensable in the modern world. And when you go and talk to the next generation of voters and you ask them, hey, look, you want an open economy or a closed one? Guess what they pick? An open one. That's freedom. Do you want an economy that grows naturally and organically, or one that grows politically and artificially from Washington? They take naturally. That's freedom. Do you want an economy that grows bottom up or top down? They take bottom up. They choose freedom. So the Republican Party, our principles are good for more than saying no to stuff.
Right.
Our principles are good for opening up education and healthcare in this economy and making this country the greatest in the world.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me.
And treat to see you.
I will see you.
You know, I love your stuff. If Salena writes, I read.
against a political opponent.
I would use IRS, Department of Justice, any other agency that is appropriate to investigate Planned Parenthood, because I believe they have broken the law, and I believe they have shocked the conscience, and I believe what they're doing is barbaric. And whatever tool I've got at my disposal to investigate Planned Parenthood, I'm more than happy to use. And today on this stage, I mentioned the IRS and the Department of Justice. My answer to you is, if it's relevant for the EPA, if it's relevant for OSHA, if it's relevant for any other agency to look into them, I'm more than happy to say yes. Because I think Planned Parenthood has broken the law. I think Planned Parenthood has violated not only the law, but I think it has offended our conscience. I think what they've described is barbaric.
What specific laws have they broken?
Well, look, I think there are allegations they've broken the law on fetal organ, the sale of fetal organs, as well as human trafficking. I think that's why it'd be appropriate for the DOJ to look into
What's the source of the
what they've
allegations?
done. You've seen the videos. Look,
I have, but what are the sources of the allegations?
Look at the videos.
I have.
The source of the allegations are the words of the Planned Parenthood leaders themselves.
You have them saying they're selling fetal organs.
You can see the videos for themselves. It shocks my conscience. If it doesn't shock yours, I can't speak to that. What I can tell you is it shocks my conscience. They would talk so callously about these babies and their organs, and I think that's wrong. And I think I speak for a lot of Americans, not just pro-life Americans, but other Americans that are offended by what Planned Parenthood has done. There's no reason for them to get over $500 million in our government and our taxpayer dollars. That's why we cut off their Medicaid contract in Louisiana. That's why we've ordered this investigation. To answer your question again, yes, I would ask the DOJ to investigate them. Yes, I'd ask the IRS to investigate them. It does appear that they are seemingly talking about profits when they claim they're a not-for-profit organization. And yes, if there were other agencies we could send after them, I would do that as well. That's why they better hope that Hillary Clinton wins this election.
But Governor, what is your reaction to people calling this the kids' table of debates, the JV of debates?
Look, I'm happy to debate anybody, anywhere, anytime. This is the first debate, not the last debate. The reality is we're doing very well in Iowa. You may have seen we've got great movement in the polls. We got great crowds at our town hall meetings. We're doing very well. We're going to go, there's a saying in Louisiana, you go hunting where the ducks are. We're going to go spend our time in the early states, in Iowa, New Hampshire, and the other early states. I'm always happy to debate anytime, anywhere. This is the first debate, not the last debate.
I travel across this country, and that's what I'm hearing. Just saw just last week, wages, increase in wages was the lowest ever recorded in American history. So that tells you that there are serious problems going on with tens of millions of Americans who are not working in jobs that are fully sustaining, finding themselves in many cases trapped on government benefits because the jobs just don't pay enough to get off. And that's why I talked about you have to have a 1-2 punch. Creating really good paying jobs for folks who want to work, and then look, with a little soft boot to make sure that we put time work requirements and timelines, so we get everything going in a good synergy. So we, for those who may find it a little harder to get off the rolls, we provide some incentive to do so.
Senator, can you lay out some of the differences between you and Governor Bush?
I talked a lot about immigration tonight because that's probably the area that everyone says, well, what makes you different than everybody else? And the reason I closed on immigration, spent so much time on immigration, is because I'm pretty much different than everybody else on immigration. Nobody else, everybody else talks about how tough the border is. No one's really doing anything, saying anything different. They're saying everything that everybody who said that they're going to secure the border has said for the last 20 years. And we have presidents go in there and don't do it. And the reason, if you look at the rest of their policies, they're not policies that are tough on the central problem is that we're bringing millions and millions of people in here who are undermining workers' ability to be able to rise in America, and they're not solving the fundamental problem. So the border is just one aspect of that problem. And so if I'm someone who's seriously concerned about immigration in this country, seriously concerned about the border, I'm going to look at all the other aspects of their immigration policy. And if all the other aspects of your immigration policy is, well, we're going to let everybody in as much as they want, if you're here, you can stay, well, then you have to sort of question whether how seriously they think the border's a problem. If they don't see the rest of the immigration debacle in this country as a problem. I have a only plan out there that is serious about the border, serious about overstays, serious about E-Verify, and with respect to the border, Donald Trump is right in this respect. Mexico is a big part of the problem at the border. They are not cooperating with us. They are not doing what they need to do to help our agents limit both the. I was in New Hampshire last week. They were talking about heroin, the epidemic of heroin. Where do you think most of that heroin comes from? It comes across the southern border. And again, Mexico isn't working with us, and so I think we need to suspend any new border crossing cards. That would send a very clear message to Mexico that we're going to start ratcheting up the cost of not helping us at the border. And again, you don't hear any other candidate talk like that. Those are the kinds of things, and get to the legal immigration part, where we're serious about limiting the number of unskilled workers coming into this country. Not because we're against any group of people, because we've had 35 million people coming into this country in the last 20 years, and no one has sat back and said, well, what's the impact on working Americans having the largest number of immigrants in over a 20-year period in the history of this country at a time when we're not growing an economy and the number of unskilled jobs is going down. And that's what I'm doing. And I think if you want to look at how we differentiate ourselves, I close with that. You got folks who are interested in profits, you have folks who are interested in politics and votes, and then you've got one candidate out here who's articulating a message for the people who are hurting the most in this country. And I think that's what America is looking for.
I have a lifetime of experience, a degree in foreign policy, experience overseas as a United States Army intelligence agent, trained in that business in the United States Army, assigned during the Cold War to Germany. I've seen the Russians up close and personal. I've watched Ronald Reagan succeed in the Cold War. I've been the governor of Virginia during the 9/11 attack when the Pentagon was struck in Virginia, in my home state. And most importantly, the United States Congress asked me to chair the National Commission on Terrorism and Homeland Security for the United States for 5 years. We have offered solutions. We warned about the attacks. We've explained national strategies. All of these things are things I've lived with all my life. I don't have to go get somebody to feed it to me. And we shouldn't have a candidate for president of the United States that feels like he's got to go bone up on foreign policy. The moment is too dangerous for that.
Governor Gilmore, what's your strategy to get into the next debate?
Well, that's not up to me. That's up to the people that run the debate. But my strategy is to demonstrate that I have the knowledge, the program, and the experience to be able to be in the debate and offer the correct direction for the people of the United States. And, like this debate, I think people look at the fact that I was the governor of Virginia. I was on all the stages in 2008. How can you reasonably exclude me from the debate when we're just getting started and beginning to offer our programs? I have such a track record of legitimacy. I think it's very difficult to push me aside. And that's one reason why I wasn't pushed aside tonight.
Governor, why do you want to run for president?
Because I believe the country is in decline. I believe I have the experience to reverse that decline. I think it's urgent. If we don't do something, we're going to end up with a weak economy where people don't have a good quality of life, a weak economy where we can't support foreign policy. There is enormous danger in this. There is danger that we will be reduced to a second-tier power or that we will end up in a war. I don't want to see that. The sequester has to come off the defense budget. We have to have peace through strength, not war through strength, peace through strength. That's been the experience that I've seen all my life, and that's what I want to do again.
Voters right now are incredibly frustrated and angry. You see that with the rise of Bernie Sanders for the Democrats and for Donald Trump with the Republicans. How do you address and harness that energy?
Why are people frustrated? Why is it we're seeing people of such small qualifications beginning to be talked about at the national level by people in the press? Why is this going on? Because the people of the United States are frustrated and they're angry. And why is that? Well, it's because we have too few people in the workforce. It's because young people are coming out of college with no career opportunities. It's because wages have been flat in this country for years and years and years. The economy has been growing at best at 2%, with a 2% inflation, which means wages, the quality of life doesn't go up at all. They know this. They know this, and they're frustrated and they're angry. They're angry because of the things that they see with America being pushed around the international level. They see the Russians beginning to push on us in Europe after we won the Cold War. They see the Chinese trying to take over the South China Sea. They see the Iranians doing a ridiculous agreement with us that almost guarantees they're going to have a nuclear weapon. It's these terrorists getting completely out of control and out of hand, and they're frustrated because they don't see national leadership. That's why they're frustrated. I intend to address that and be a voice for that, but out of a responsible and real experienced way.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
The Trump thing go until it becomes a problem for the party? I mean, is it Labor Day? Is it Halloween? Is it the first frost? When does it become a problem?
You know, I don't know at what point in time we cross the Rubicon, but I do know this: the opportunity to win in 2016 is extraordinary. All I can say is that a lot of our candidates beat Hillary, Mr. Trump doesn't. I will reinforce the same message. To grow this party, you got to have somebody that can reach out effectively to all corners of America. I don't believe the statements by Mr. Trump regarding illegal immigrants is helpful. I don't believe his comments about Senator Kane's service is going to be an asset. I believe that the best way to defeat Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden is to have someone with a background, experience, and judgment to take the country in a different direction. But at the end of the day, shows that you care more about your country than your party. And I think that's what I offer the most.
What do you think is the most important issue facing children of this country?
They're about to inherit more debt than they can pay off, and they're about to grow up in a world where radical Islam is getting stronger and threatens our way of life. I don't want young people to lose the American dream because we've become Greece on my watch, and here in Social Security have to be reformed to save us from becoming Greece. And I don't want young people in this country to grow up in a world where radical Islam dominates, where an Ayatollah who kills his own young people has a nuclear weapon. So my purpose in my presidency is to make this world safer and more prosperous for young Americans, and that's going to take leadership. Some of these young Americans, 18, 19, and 20, are going to have to go back to Iraq and eventually go into Syria with the regional force to keep the rest of us safe. The purpose of my presidency would be a commander-in-chief worthy of their sacrifice.
Thank you.
Senator, California is about to expand health care coverage to children who are in the country illegally, and they're thinking about doing the same thing for adults. What do you think of that?
I think we need to fix illegal immigration. I think we need to get people into the system where they're paying taxes. We need to identify them. Felons are not welcome. Would I break up a family? If you had a felon in your family, I'd break it up. If all you did is broken the immigration laws and done nothing else, you could stay here legally and you'd be paying into the system, you'd be paying taxes, you'd pay a fine. I think the worst mistake we can make is continue this broken immigration system. And you'll never fix it without Republicans and Democrats working together.
Until the federal government does that, does state
that will be
policies
California's
like this?
choice. I think it's going down a bad
Mind the format. I prefer longer times because I'm not a real good soundbite guy, and I think I know things pretty well. So having a greater opportunity to explain answers, I think for me would have been a good thing. But on the other hand, you don't want people to tune out. You want them to watch the debate, and hopefully they did, and hopefully they learned a lot.
How do you feel it did tonight?
I did fine. I enjoyed it very much. I'm very grateful for the opportunity for the first time, really, to make my case to the American people. And I think they heard, that this is about bringing people together and solving problems instead of just dividing us for political benefit and protecting the special interests. I can do that. I have done it.
Governor, what did you think of Governor Jindal's idea of sicking the IRS, the DOJ, et cetera, the forces of the federal government on Planned Parenthood? Do you think that's legal? That's something the president should pre-announce?
To me, you have to look at the law to see if the actions they took were illegal. And if so, whether it's Planned Parenthood or any group, they should be investigated by the government.
And have you felt for a long time about the 20-week conception? Because you talked about science. We know more about life now. How long have you felt that way about the 20-week?
I've thought that way for some time because science has made it plain that at that point you have a living human being.
Governor, do you think what Planned Parenthood did was illegal?
I don't know whether or not it was illegal, but it was abhorrent and repugnant, and I think should unequivocally disqualify them from any funding from the federal government or state and local governments, regardless of your period.
Someone who has a real record of success. If job creation and security is what Americans care about, and that's what I hear when I travel to Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, and other places, they care about having a good job, the dignity of a job. And I tell people the best welfare program in the world is a good job. And nobody on either one of those states has a record of job creation. We do in the state of Texas. How we did that was tax policy and regulatory policy, legal policy, accountable policy. And it's not Texas-centric. It'll work anywhere. We just need a president to trust Americans again and devolve that power back to the states. I was very satisfied with the performance of it. This is a long game. This is just the first. This is the first date, so to speak. And before the Americans decide who they're going to marry, it's going to be a long process.
When you call Donald Trump a celebrity, competition?
Well, I think celebrities are serious, but I do think that he is a celebrity just as Mayor Giuliani is a celebrity in 07. And he led the ticket. You know, Mr. Trump and I have had some disagreements. Pretty public. But I'm never going to be quiet when somebody takes a shot at the young men and women who have been captured and been killed that way. If he wants to go make that statement, go look Marcus Luttrell in the town. He was captured by the Taliban. Tell him you don't want to be around. I want to be around those people. I want to respect it. I want them to know that their commander-in-chief understands what they're doing. And I think his cheap shot at John McCain went right through John McCain. Hit a really, really punch in the spine. And I'm not going to stand for it.
Do you have a reaction to the people calling this first debate the Kansas City?
Well, as I said earlier, this is a very long period of time. This is the first step in this process. And I don't consider Lindsey Graham, Bobby Jindal, Rick Santorum, Carly Fiorina,
So, you know, we just like the little emphasis here, and great reaction to New Hampshire and South Carolina, and Iowa, and the state fair, and you know what's really I'm having a great time. I'm loving meeting the people because everywhere I go, I feel like I'm seeing Ohio. When I'm in, you know, in America, it's so just great.
You had an outreach moment
Well, no, I don't really plan this. In my own head,